painting orchids can feel quite complicated because of the layers of petals that they have and that weird little center bit, but don't worry, I don't want you to stress about it. We're just going for a very loose watercolor look with this floral composition. And then when we're done with painting that first base layer, before it dries while it's still wet, practicing wet on wet, poking in some more saturated color just to get some really pretty blends. All right, we're starting by spraying down our palette here to get everything nice and liquidy. So we have some nice watery paint here. I'm gonna grab some red, I'm gonna grab some pink, and we're gonna work with the lightest, pretty much the lightest versions of these colors as we can. I'm gonna grab some lemon yellow, a little bit of a peachy look, and we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna paint with these light colors and then start adding in some other color like we were talking about. So we're gonna start around here, and I'm gonna do this little side-facing floral. Now, keeping in mind, I am not, trying to copy this, but I'm just trying to create my own loose version of this floral. So, I encourage you to do the same. Just kind of add in what you think makes sense, and we'll add in some nice concentrated pink here and let that just kind of spread around and do its little thing. Okay, so now we're going to do a side-facing floral over here, and then we need a second petal, and then one over here too. So just being really loose with these loose florals, grabbing some orangey and letting that just drop in and kind of spread around. So now we're going to do a forward-facing like this guy right here. It doesn't really matter that first color, but it's kind of fun to choose. So we're going to go over here and just do this little scrubby middle, kind of like this, leaving a lot of white space. And that way we don't have to worry too much about the details. If we do a little scrubby white space, we're emulating the look. And then we're going to do 2 petals on this side and then 2 more on this side. Really loose, getting a little bit thinner as they get towards the middle of the flower. And so the idea here is, we are simply creating the idea of these florals. We'll grab some red and just kind of pop that in around that center. It's very concentrated paint that we're using, so just be aware of that, and that's going to give you some of those nice values, lightness and darkness as well. I'm just going to paint a little bit more in there. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little side facing on this side. So side facing to me is the easiest ones. Just a little petal here, a little petal here, just kind of squiggle, move your brush around, and then we'll add some green later to really make it come together. So at the base, I'm touching here, just dropping in a little bit of color and letting that just meld together. We've got some orange here. We're going to do another forward facing, so I'm going to do a little scriggly in the middle. And as we do another pink one here, just providing a way where you can see, the colors that you like or the marks that you're putting down. This one has just kind of some wonky petals. I'm sort of looking at this guy here. So I can only see 4. So maybe you like the brush strokes you've created or the fact that you're just painting with me today. Maybe this is part of a set of goals that you've decided on, for the new year, or just this, if we're in the middle of the year, it's something that you've decided to try. Just sitting down and creating something can be motivating enough as long as you've got the right mindset. But look for the things, maybe the colors are coming together in the way that makes you happy. Think about the good things to motivate yourself to keep painting and keep trying next time, because that's the only reason that you're going to do this long term. All right, adding in, some paint here and there. Now let's go ahead and do another one over here. So a little scrubby middle, just like that, very simple. And, some of these may not end up looking, like orchids, but when you put them all together, you're going to see them as one orchid group. And that's the fun thing about loose florals. One floral is informing the others. And so, just think loose and think joy. Joy is the bottom line here today. Let's do another one right here. We're getting towards the end of this whole part of putting in the florals, and then we can start putting in our stem and our leaves and really start to pull this together. So color-wise, I'm just going to go with orange again. That nice bright orange. I really liked that color. So now I've got my green here. I'm going to grab a little bit of black. I'm going to dab my brush on my paper towel, still using that same one, and we're just going to start connecting things to the main stem. So I'm going to say my main stem is coming off this way. If some of your green starts to bleed into your flowers, it's okay. It's watercolor. That's what it does. I'm going to connect these guys. And we're going to paint in our leaves now. So we're going to start at the base around here, and we're just going to press down on the side of the belly of the brush. I'm going to go bypass beyond those guys and just all the way up, just like that, with a nice little dry brush effect happening here. And just connecting that all